Hi and welcome to Candyfloss Crochet. Today I'm going to show you how to make this fabulous chevron stitch. So apologies for the fact it's attached to a bigger blanket, but hopefully you can see the pattern on it. It's quite a simple pattern. It's all done in UK double crochet. It's just a case of making sure you keep your stitch count in your head as you're going along, and I will also upload a separate pattern on how to square off these edges, because as you can see I've made mine into a square, and the chevron generally pattern I filled in these triangles here. So normally you wouldn't have those there, but I'll show you how to do that, and I'm also going to show you how to change colour if you want to do a colour repeat on it. So let's get started. I am using today a 4mm hook, and I'm also going to use this lovely Demores Studio Anti-Piling DK, which recommends the 4mm hook, and this one is in citrine, and I will probably introduce another colour at some point, and I'll let you know what that one is. Now with this pattern you need to chain in, let me bring my design back up again and show you, in 25s. So all your chains in 25, so you've got 25 on this one, 25 on this one, so 25 chains. So when you're working out how big you want to make your pattern, you have to do it in multiples of 25, and then you need to add an extra 5 chains for the turning of your work. Okay, so go ahead and work out how big you want your pattern, but I'm going to just chain up 50 stitches. So here I've already done mine, but you go ahead and work yours up. So I've done 50 and I've added an extra 5. So pause the video at this point, join me back in a moment when you've got all 55 chained up, or however big you're going to make it, and we'll get started. Okay, so hopefully you're all good to go. Just going to pop my hook on, my chain, and our very first stitch is generally all double crochet throughout the whole pattern. On this one, let me just put that through. That's it. You're going to work your first double crochet into the second chain from the hook. So I just want to be clear what that one is. That's not this chain that's on your hook. That's your first chain there. That's your second. So work a UK double crochet, so US single crochet into that one. So that's insert your hook, yarn over, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. Repeat that again into the next one. So double crochet, and then I want you to skip one. So skip 1 chain, and into the next 11 chains I want you to do 1 double crochet into each one. So that's 11 double crochet. So skipping 1, insert your hook, yarn over, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I did a treble then, not concentrating. Work each one as you go along, double crochet into each stitch. So we started off with 1 double crochet into the second chain from the hook, 1 in the next one, and then skipped 1, and then we're doing 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So I've done my 11 double crochets along there. You now want to form a peak, so you're going to do 3 double crochets into the next chain. That's 1, 2, and 3. That forms my first peak on that one. Now you're going to do 11 double crochets into the next, 1 double crochet into the next 11 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, my last one, 11 into that. So you've just formed your first peak and you're working back down. After that one, you're going to skip 2, so 1, 2, and then you guessed it, you're going to do 11, 1 double crochet in the next 11. So you're skipping 2 will form your dip, and you're doing 11 double crochets into the next 11 chains. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Once you've done your 11, you're going to form another peak. So that's 3 double crochets into the next chain. 1, 2, 3, and now you're working 11 double crochets down from the peak in each of these stitches, so 1 in each stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. You're going to skip a stitch, and then you need to work 1 DC in the last 2. So skipping 1, make sure you don't miss that last one. So this is the one I'm going to skip. There's a stitch here and my last one's here, so you should have 2 left, or 3 left, and you're skipping 1. So 1 DC into that one, and 1 DC into my very last stitch, which is a little bit awkward to get into, but it's there. And that finishes off row 2. So I'm just going to lie it out again. Let's pull my end up. It twists, but as it gets bigger, it does get better, and it gets easier to see the pattern repeat on it. Let's get the ends out the way. There you go. So that's your starter of a chevron stitch. You're going to chain 1 and turn. And I'm going to do one more round with you, and then I'm going to show you how to change colour if that's what you want to do, because I think it looks quite effective when you change colour. So we're going to go back to repeat the row. So we're chaining 1, we're turning our work, we're doing a double crochet into that first stitch at the bottom of the chain, and that one, a double crochet into the next stitch, then we're going to skip 1, and then we're going to do our 11, 2, 11. I'm at the top of my peak again, so I'm going to do 3 double crochets into the next stitch. So keep that peak, and 11 back down the side. That's 1, 2, 3. I've got to my bottom, that's my 11th. I'm going to skip 2, 1, 2, and then I'm going into the 3rd one, and I'm going to do 11. So that was 1, 2, 3, That's my 11th stitch. 3 double crochets into the next one, and we're on our last end here, so we're doing 11. And you should be left with 3 stitches at the end after 11. You're skipping 1 and doing a double crochet in the last 2 stitches. Okay, so that is the end of row 3. So just pull up my end. Let's get that laid out flat again because it's twisted as I've worked. There you go, all fingers and thumbs. Oops. So that's the basics of a chevron stitch, and as I said, we're working in multiples of 25, and that's generally how you do it. So if you want to carry on at this point and work up as many rows as you want, doing exactly the same thing. So just to remind you, you're chaining 1, you're turning, you're putting a double crochet into the bottom of the chain, double crochet into the next one, working 11 up, 3 in the 12th stitch, 11 down, skip 2, 11 up, 3 in the 12th stitch, 11 down, last 3 stitches, skipping 1, double crochet into the last 2. So if you want to pause at this point, work up as many rows as you want, and then join me back and I will be adding another colour just so you can see the difference on those. Okay, so hopefully you've worked up your sample to however big you want it. If you can stop at the point where you've got 3 stitches left, then I will show you how to change colour. Just so you know, I am using this lovely, again, Demoris Studio Anti-Piling DK, and this one is called, you can see that, Burnt Orange. So I'm going to use that one, and I have my ends ready. So to change colours, what I do when I change colours, so our last bit of our row was the skip 1 and a double crochet into the last 2 stitches. So I'm now on my very last stitch, and what I do to change colour, I insert my hook and I work half a stitch in one colour and then half a stitch in the new one. So insert my hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook. I'm going to drop that yarn, then I'm going to bring in my new colour, just going to hold it with my finger there, pinch it in place, and then finish, yarn over and finish the stitch in my new colour. And then as we do to turn, you're chaining 1. Turn your work, and at this point you could snip off your yellow, or in my case the yellow, whatever colour you're using. And you might need to pull these in a bit because they loosen off a little bit, but once you get your first couple of stitches in, it works up quite fine. We're repeating the pattern, so you're working a double crochet in the bottom of the chain stitch, the turning chain. You're working a double crochet into the next one, you're skipping 1, and then you're working 11 double crochets all the way up to that peak. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's my 11th. And I'm at the peak now. I'm going to do 3 double crochets into the 12th stitch, and I'm working back down. So again, 11 stitches in the next 11 double crochet, 1 double crochet in the next 11 stitches. Sorry, trying not to confuse myself as well as you. Oh, caught my yarn. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, and my 11th stitch. I'm going to skip 2, 1, 2. I'm now going to put my next one in there. That's 1 and work 11 up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, my 11th stitch. Onto stitch 12, we're at a peak, so we're doing 3 double crochets in our peak, and then we're working back down with 11 double crochets in the next 11 stitches. 3, 's my 11th stitch. Got 3 left. I'm skipping 1. Now this is where sometimes they're harder to see, so I'm skipping 1. That's my next one, and my last one is really difficult to get into. There he is. There you go, my last one on here. As you can see, it's still twisting, but we're getting there, and I haven't cut off my yellow yarn as yet. But you can see the effect of the chevron as you go down. So make sure you keep your stitch count. I'm going to work up a few more rows, and then I will put a link in the description box below for how to fill in these edges. So this is a great pattern, but generally if it's on a blanket, it can look really good just to have a chevron pattern with a straight edge at the sides, and you might want to leave it like that. But if you did want to square it off, I will put a link to another pattern on how to square off these chevron edges. But that effectively is the chevron pattern. Thanks for watching.